welcome back. It is Thursday the 4th of July, so happy 4th. Which is completely irrelevant because I'm in Ireland. This is the story time of how I broke my arm with my elbow and I now have 7 screws, a metal plate and 2 wires in there now for maybe life. I don't really know, to be honest. But this is how it happened. This is the run through of the events of that day and that night and the following morning. So if you watched my last video, you'll know that this happened in Albufeira. But if not, basically I was in Albufeira with a big group. 16 of us went over, and this happened on the second last day. So it wasn't actually too bad because of the fact that we had done the important things. I think the water park and all that. They were all done. It was kind of weird. The first half of that day was chill enough, and then I think it got to around 3 or 4, and we were sort of I think a few of us were going to go to the beach, which was a 15-minute walk away or something like that. But then a few of the others were going to get food, and then I think it was me, Amy, and Nathan. So we were walking to the beach, but then we were okay, we go get a little bit of food first. So we go into this. It was kind of like a resort that had a cafe restaurant that other people could come into, and so we went in there. That's where everybody else was, and we were sitting there. I think I got a crepe and a Sex on the Beach, and then everybody else got whatever. I think it was around 4:15, and then Amy disappears into the wild, just doing her own little thing. We turned around to see that she's up in a tennis court. So then finished off her food, went up to her then, and then there was tennis rackets and tennis balls, all that. We were recreating challengers, doing TikToks and shit like that. And then from the moment I got up there, I had in my head, I was I wonder if I could make the jump over the net. So I was you know what? We were there for probably 20 minutes, and I was you know what? I'm gonna fucking do it. I'm gonna do it. I emptied my pockets, sat everything down, and I ran up, made the jump, cleared the jump first time. Unbelievable. Long jump for Olympics, nominate me. Then Louise was oh, do it again, we'll record it. I was that's a good idea. That wasn't a good idea. Okay, so I ran up from the other side and tried to make the jump again. Feet get caught in the net, and I land directly on my elbow. The thing is, okay, you need to understand here that it was not painful enough for me to have thought that it was broken. It genuinely didn't seem broken. If I'm demonstrating on this arm, right, it was kind of just this. I wasn't able to stretch or bring it back up, I was able to move my fingers, all that, but even doing that or that hurt. Now, I was kind of oh, I'll probably go down, probably be fine. But then got back to our villa, and I was kind of this isn't getting any better. So we were looking it up, and we went to the nearest A&E sort of situation. Me, Evan, and Keelan went. Now we get there, and it was fucking busy as hell in there, and I was oh my god, I don't want to be sitting here. But luckily got seen by the nurse straight away, and they gave me an orange band, which it's right there, an orange wristband, which means very urgent. And I was okay, well, he still didn't tell me what was wrong because he obviously didn't have much English, and I was sitting there, and I was fucking hell. So anyways, within a half an hour then, I was seen by the doctor, who sent me for an x-ray. He said that it was broken. He confirmed that it was broken, and I was shit, okay. And then in the room, he was the x-ray is not clear enough for me to know whether or not you will need surgery, so you're going to need to see an orthopedic surgeon. But guess what? We don't have any here. I was okay. And he was yeah, you're going to have to go to Faro Hospital and see the orthopedic surgeon there. Probably around 7 or 8. It was probably around 7 or 8. And I was God, I don't want to have to do that, but whatever, it is what it is, whatever. And so he told me, he was you can get a taxi or we can call you an ambulance. And I was oh sure, I'll just go for the ambulance. And then I told Evan and Keelan to go home because there's no point in them just like waiting around. I was kind of like, I thought that for some reason the ambulance would be really fast. That it would just, you know, that there'd be one maybe already there or whatever. There wasn't. In retrospect, I would have gotten an Uber. I was waiting probably like 2.5 hours for the ambulance. And by the time they got there, I had fallen asleep, woken up, because the pain meds they gave me were like pretty strong. They kind of knocked me out. I remember like looking to my right and they were like there. And I was like, I just didn't even know how to like communicate with them. I was like, what the fuck? Like, bring me to the hospital, please. They brought me in to see another nurse. Then that's when the paramedics left. So I was talking to this nurse. Then she gave me a yellow band, which meant urgent. I was put into another waiting room. By the way, this waiting room was like, I felt like I was in like Prison Break in one of those like prisons. It was kind of, it did not, I didn't like it at all. It felt like I was in like a, like, it felt like I'd been kidnapped and I was in just like a room. I didn't like the vibe of it, like, at all. But, you know, it was fine. And I was like, there was like 4 other people in there. And I was like, shit, like, I'm going to be waiting until all these people are seen by the orthopedic surgeon. Because this was the orthopedic room. So I was like, assumed that I'd be waiting on these other people. I was actually the first one called, which was weird because I don't know. Anyways, he brought me in, sent me for another x-ray, got that done. He was like, yeah, you know, you're gonna need surgery. Surgery is low-key my worst nightmare. He explained how like there's no point in me going for surgery over there, there'd be a long waiting list and all that. So I was like, whatever, yeah. So he was like, I'm gonna put you in a cast. Put me in cast and that was fine. So then I got an Uber back and I was back in the villa at like probably 12:30. And I'd originally gotten to the first hospital at like 6. So it wasn't like that awful of a like experience. And it was like 40 minutes to Faro and 40 minutes back. So taking away like about an hour and a half, like it was actually alright. Like you can't really complain. Anyways, that was that. I went to bed then when I got back because I was like, nobody really went out. Everybody was low-key tired as fuck. So it was Wednesday then. Took all of Wednesday pretty handy like. And then we were going out Wednesday night, big night, hectic for our last night, like going all out. And I had been smart with it, okay? I purposely didn't take pain meds apart from on Wednesday morning. So on Wednesday morning at around 10:30, I took like 2 tablets. I don't know what they were, but either way they had codeine in them. So I purposely didn't take any for the rest of the day because I was like, there's just no, like I know I'll be drinking Wednesday night. So I was like, I'm not going to take any more. They'll have done their job, worked their way out of my system by the time I get drinking. So I started drinking, like as you do, you know, fairly heavily like. And we went to Old Town, Albufeira, and then we're there for a little while. And then obviously went to the strip after. Get to the strip. This is when things begin to get a little bit blurry for me, okay? Like a tad bit. Like I was fine up until this point. Completely fine. Forgot that I even took painkillers, all that shit, whatever. Went, got more drinks. Now, Temple, on the Albufeira strip, you screwed me over. This is the second night you screwed me over because listen. They do a drink deal, which is a double like spirit and whatever. So I was getting double vodka white, a Jaeger bomb, and a shot for €10. Who's not going to opt for that? Like, I obviously was going to do that. So I did that. Now, the other night I did end up getting sick because it was just too much for little old me. Did the shot, did the Jaeger bomb, whatever. Then that's honestly the last like main thing that I remember is ordering them. And then I remember like having my vodka white. Now, the next I remember I'm in the tattoo shop again, which if you don't know, I got a tattoo in Albufeira. That was a different night. Whatever. I end up in the same tattoo shop where my friends are. And I was kind of confused because I still am confused. I genuinely have no recollection of getting there. Don't know who I came there with. Did I ask? No. Do I want to know? Not really. So I end up getting there and I'm sitting on like their little couch as like a waiting area or whatever, because I think, yeah, a few of our friends were getting tattoos that night that didn't get them the previous night or whatever that we had gotten them. So we're waiting for them, whatever, and Then luckily Emma came in clutch and videoed a sort of like segment for the YouTube video that I posted last. And when I was looking back on that, I really don't remember like anything. So obviously the alcohol mixed with the codeine. I didn't get sick or anything like that. Fast forward then a little bit to, I remember being like carried up the strip because of like how bad I was. Like I remember not being able to like walk. Don't think I was able to see for a while. And the fact that it was like an accident as well was even kind of like worse, because like it's like I genuinely didn't know that was gonna happen. I drank like a good bit, but it wasn't any more than like I would kind of do if I was going out anyways. Bless my friends, because I felt so guilty for it. And yeah, they looked after me well, got me home and whatever. But like me, like always, I go to bed for like, I think I woke up at 8 and I woke up, got up, no hangover. My biggest flex in life ever is that I don't get hangovers. I don't. And I got up, showered, was perfectly fine. And like everybody else was low-key dying. I was the one that was like fine out of everyone. It was so funny. I'm just so built different. But anyways, I've had my surgery now because it's been like 16 days since it happened. So I had my surgery actually this day last week. Like it went well and everything. I was out for like 3 hours now. I don't know, you might not be able to tell. Actually, yeah, my hand is still green because they tried to put the cannula in my hand there, but they couldn't, like it wouldn't stay in the vein or something, and it kept on slipping out. So they had to put it there instead, where that green fucking thing is. It was really, really painful for about like 3 or 4 days. And you know, but I'm off my pain meds now because like I'm not in enough pain for me to feel like I need to take them. It sounds much worse than I thought it would ever be. Like when I say to people, I'm like, oh yeah, 7 screws, metal plate and 2 wires, it actually sounds like really bad. And like it was a bad break, to be honest. Like but it was never painful enough for me to have thought that it would be that bad. I'm back in the hospital on Tuesday, so they're gonna take this off, x-ray it, and then probably put on one of those things where it's like, again, it is like a cast, but it's like dials on it to be able to extend. I do hope that I'm able to get like full movement back, and I'm really going to work hard at the physio whenever I get the opportunity to start going for physio and that, because I do want to take it seriously. And like even when I'm going back to the gym, like I'm gonna try and gradually build my strength back up, because I am sort of working on like flexing like underneath, because it's good to exercise muscles above and below. So the pain is almost fully gone. At the start I could feel the metal in my arm. It was not a great feeling. I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm going to Italy in like 4 weeks. I'm gonna be going through airport security and they're gonna be like, what is in your arm? And I'm gonna be like, sorry, there's fucking metal in my arm. Imagine somebody in the future has a metal detector and is like going over graves and stuff to see if they can find anything, and then they're like, oh my god, we got something. They open up the grave and it's just like a fucking pile of screws. That's actually not a great thought to have in my head, but I do miss driving. I miss driving a lot, and just the freedom of being able to do whatever. But I'm getting used to doing things with my left hand. Like I'm ain't it fun? Ain't it fun? I'll be telling the kids in the future, I'll be like, listen lads, don't be jumping over any tennis court nets. Because genuinely, if you can't change the past, why what's the point in being fucking... I'm gonna do whatever. I'm going to Hosier tomorrow. I'm so excited. I love Hosier. Anyways, I'm yapping now, so I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop the lights. That's the story time of how I broke this beauty, and hopefully it'll get back to being as strong as it ever was.